Tonight, Troy University kicks off homecoming week.
And the Trojans celebrate their wins and also a very special birthday. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for November 13th, 2012. I'm Rachel Scarborough.
And I'm Judson Garner. Thank you for joining us this evening. On Saturday, while the Trojan football team was getting ready to take on one of the nation's military academies, Troy University established a relationship with one of Alabama's military institutions. Saturday morning, Troy University signed an agreement with Marion Military Institute that will provide scholarships to MMI graduates who enroll at Troy to complete their bachelor's degree. The agreement allows MMI associate's degree graduates to apply for a scholarship that will provide $2,000 annually for 4 semesters. It's an agreement that both the school feels will be beneficial to students.
I'm a General Studies Commission on our campus.
Distinguished history. They've provided lots of officers for the military. Lots of Marines have come out of Marion, and so now that it's part of the state system of 2-year colleges, we're working with Marion to make sure that their cadets who want to matriculate to a 4-year degree can do so. Economically, we're providing a scholarship that will assist them.
It really is a big deal. I mean, accessibility to college education these days is not what it used to be because of costs. And so anytime you can provide students some sort of cost discount or accessibility when it comes to cost, I think you're doing a good thing. And Troy's doing a great thing here, providing these cadets an opportunity to transfer to Troy with essentially a discount by way of scholarship.
The scholarship agreement will take effect starting in fall of 2013.
In addition to Navy coming to town on Saturday, there was a tie to another branch of the military. It was the 237th birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps, and Troy University helped celebrate. Christina Cook has the story.
On Saturday, Troy University celebrated the Marine Corps' 237th birthday with the attendance of many Marines, family members, and our very own Chancellor Hawkins.
I was commissioned in 1967, served in the Vietnam War. In fact, had several members of my platoon from Vietnam here this weekend, and so it was a special pleasure to see old friends and old colleagues, and to be amongst men and women who have worn the uniform and worn it proudly.
The celebration also gave older Marines the chance to share their stories and learn a few things from some younger Marines.
The technology is definitely on our side these days. The Marines, we're trying to catch up with them, the younger Marines, and the technology they have, and it's been a force multiplier for us on the battlefield.
And for one attendee, it was important to include the entire family for the celebration.
My husband's active duty, so we have brought the boys, our 2 sons, and a friend of theirs who's not military and has never been able to see this. So we thought it would be special for him to be able to see what the history is of the Marine Corps.
And as Chancellor Hawkins explains, a celebration like this one brings together a strong group of people who are willing to serve their country.
It's a spirit and an esprit de corps that has no equal, I think, and I've looked worldwide looking for something that might match it, but it really does reduce to just one large fraternity of people who believe in common values and who believe in this country.
Christina Cook, Troy TrojanVision News.
The United States Marine Corps was founded in 1775.
This Saturday is Troy University's homecoming game, but all this week there are a number of homecoming activities for Troy University students to get involved in. Tonight is the annual homecoming dance competition. It will be at 7 in the Claudia Crosby Theater. The dance competition is one of many throughout the week, including skit night this Thursday. And as Vice President of Campus Affairs Cody Farrell tells us, the competitions are a fun way for any student to get involved with homecoming activities.
I think they should enjoy it because, first of all, it's a good time. It's a good laugh, especially skit night. I mean, you're essentially watching people make fun of themselves for the sake of Troy University. But also, it's just a good time to be involved as a student. Why sit in your dorm room when you can go do something? I feel like this is a great way just to get involved on campus. Maybe you'll realize that there's an organization performing that possibly you could join.
Once again, the dance competition is tonight at 7 in the Claudia Crosby Theater. The SGA is asking anyone who wants to attend who didn't get a wristband last week to bring a children's book for admission to the event.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Tuscaloosa, authorities say a man was shot after confronting a burglary suspect at a Tuscaloosa business. Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's officials say the suspect was carrying a cash register out of a business when he was confronted by the victim around 8:30 last night at a Dollar General store. Officials say the masked suspect opened fire. The victim suffered multiple gunshot wounds.
In Dothan, authorities say a 31-year-old Midland City man asked deputies not to open his car trunk because it would wake up his 5-year-old son, who was asleep inside, and they found the boy asleep all right. They also found more than 2 pounds of marijuana Saturday. The Henry County Sheriff's Department says Anthony Darrell Smith and 2 other people were arrested.
And in Coleman County, the city of Colony shut down amid a political dispute and is trying to move forward. Yesterday, the sheriff unlocked Town Hall in Colony so 4 council members could take their oath of office.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, another top-ranking military official is under investigation in the scandal that brought down the head of the CIA.
Plus, it was a historic weekend on Troy's campus with 2 big home games. Justin McNally will be in with all the details, including the first game in Trojan Arena.
On a historic night, the Trojans played one for the ages. I'm Danielle Percival. I'll have the story of the first game in Trojan Arena coming up.
Be out there. Be out there.
Be out there.
Be out there.
Time was, kids did what came naturally. Spending free time running barefoot through the grass, wading knee-deep in streams, climbing to the tallest branch. But today, American kids are more likely found texting, watching TV, or gazing at a computer screen. They spend more than 7 hours in front of electronic media. Something essential has been lost: childhood's connection to the natural world. That's why National Wildlife Federation created the Be Out There movement. Kids move indoors causes a host of problems, from obesity to ADHD. But outdoor play can go a long way to improving kids' health, body, mind, and spirit. It helps them stay fit, enhances creativity and attention spans, and could even make them better students. Do your part. Be a part of Be Out There. There's a reason why they call it the great outdoors. Learn more at beoutthere.org.
Be out there! From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Rachel Scarborough at the Global News Desk. Rachel.
Thanks, Judson. A promotion is on hold for the top U.S. general in Afghanistan. Investigators are combing through his email communications with a Tampa socialite involved in the scandal that forced David Petraeus to resign. Danielle Nottingham has more from Washington.
General John Allen, the top U.S. commander in Afghanistan, is now linked to the scandal involving former CIA Director David Petraeus. Pentagon investigators are looking into email communications between Allen and Tampa socialite Jill Kelly that some have characterized as flirtatious. Kelly is the woman who went to the FBI with anonymous threatening emails that agents traced to Petraeus' alleged girlfriend, Paula Broadwell. One senior defense official says the General Allen investigation centers on about 20,000 pages of documents. Another says Allen and Kelly only exchanged a few hundred emails over a number of years, and that the vast majority of them are completely innocuous. Kelly's brother defended her character.
I know who my sister is, and I know she's a good mother and a good wife.
Allen remains in command of 68,000 U.S. troops in Afghanistan. He was supposed to be here on Capitol Hill this week for hearings on his nomination to be Supreme U.S. Commander in Europe. Now that's on hold.
The President thinks very highly of General Allen and his service to his country.
Petraeus resigned Friday and admitted to the extramarital affair. His former aide says he is extremely remorseful.
He said in those words, I screwed up. What I did was wrong. There's no excuses for it.
Broadwell hasn't been seen since the scandal broke. Monday night, FBI agents searched her North Carolina home. They left carrying several boxes of documents. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
With antibiotic-resistant infections on the rise, the CDC and 25 other health organizations are teaming up to try to get the problem under control. Vanita Nair reports from New York.
Let's take a look on the left side one more time.
John Tilley took antibiotics for 5 years to treat his chronic sinus problems. Doctors gave him a new prescription every 3 to 4 months.
They were like, oh, that one wasn't strong enough, we'll give you this one. And that still didn't work.
Health officials say antibiotic overuse is a public health threat in the U.S. Now the Centers for Disease Control and more than 24 other health organizations are issuing new policies to fight antibiotic resistance.
We are seeing an increase in resistance among common infections. So we're seeing an increase in hospitalizations that are due to antibiotic-resistant infections.
Antibiotics are only effective when used to fight bacterial infections. But a new poll shows more than 1/3 of Americans mistakenly think antibiotics can fight viruses. Health groups also want to limit antibiotics in meat and poultry and use them only when necessary for the animal's health. Patients need to do their part too. If you're prescribed an antibiotic, take the right dose, complete the course, and do not save leftovers for later. And ask your doctor if you really need one.
Nothing bad is going to happen to you if you wait a day or two to see if you're going to get better.
It turns out John needed surgery to correct his sinus problems.
It was pretty much reconstructing my left sinuses.
He's hoping he won't have to rely on antibiotics as much. Vanita Nair for CBS News, New York.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, such as how traveling will be this holiday season, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Judson.
Thank you, Rachel. And now Justin McNally joins us for a look at sports. So, Justin, we just came out of a big weekend for Trojan Athletics.
That's right. It was a jam-packed weekend full of Trojan Athletics. You know, from the men's basketball team game Friday night to the football team, had a volleyball matchups this past weekend, even had a women's basketball started their season. So with all the sports to talk about, let's jump straight into it.
All right.
While it was a historic weekend on Troy's campus this past weekend, the men's basketball team was unable to carry the momentum over from Friday's game into their Monday night matchup against Texas A&M. The Trojans dropped the game to the Aggies 83-65. This game saw the Trojans make a comeback in the second half and cut the lead to 7, but a late run by the Aggies put the game out of reach. Hunter Williams led the Trojans with 15 points and 5 assists, while Ray Chambers added an additional 10 points. While the Trojans were unsuccessful against this SEC team, Danielle Percival shows us they were able to defeat another SEC opponent in exciting fashion.
But a 56-53 victory over Mississippi State made the inaugural game in Trojan Arena unforgettable.
It'll be obviously one of the top victories because of the significance of the game. You only get a chance to win the first game in a new place one time. So you can only make history one time. And this group of kids will know that the rest of their lives, that they made history tonight.
With 1.7 seconds left on the clock, Emil Jones drained the game-winning jumper. But it turns out that's not the play Coach Maestri called.
First thing, I got to give Emil credit for coaching. We called a different play. Emil's from Mississippi, from Hattiesburg, has dreamed about this really, to be honest with you, since last spring. He wasn't having a great game. I think he was shooting about 30%, and he pulled me on the side and said, Coach, I got to have it. And we said, scratch everything that we just said. Just put the ball in Emil's hands, let him take the last shot. You know, that's why he may be the next coach here, because he was right.
You know, I did have a rough game coming in. My teammates carried the load for the entire game. And I told Coach when we were in the huddle, I just told him I wanted it, and I was fortunate enough for them to give it to him, and I just happened to hit it.
Jones ended the night with only 10 points, but he got the ones that mattered the most.
I thought it was going in, but, you know, you never know. So I thought some other shots early in the game was going in, too, and they didn't. I mean, it's unreal. I mean, you see stuff like that on TV all the time at the big colleges, but to have it here at home is great.
It's those things that you hear people dream about, and they see it, and they over and over, and all of a sudden it happens to them. It happened to him tonight, and so that was a big-time shot. It'll be one of the bigger ones in this arena for a long time.
Danielle Percival, Troy, Trojan Vision Sports.
Trojan's next game will be against Louisiana Tech on Sunday as a part of the CBE Hall of Fame Classic. And the first game under the reign of new head coach Chanda Rigby, the women's team was unable to defeat Winthrop Sunday night. The Eagles defeated the Trojans for the second straight year, but this year's 87-82 game was much closer. The Trojans held a late 77-75 lead, but could not make a basket over a 2-minute span, and that allowed the Eagles to take an 83-77 lead. However, with 39 seconds remaining, the Trojans were able to cut the lead down to just 1. But 2 late free throws was the dagger for the Trojans. Ashley Beverly Kelly, a true freshman, led the Trojans offensively with 19 points, and Jasmine Pitts added 14 more. The 82-point score was the most the Trojans have scored since the 2009-2010 season, when they scored 84 against Middle Tennessee State. The Trojans will try to regroup and get a win in their first home game against Mercer on Wednesday. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 o'clock. And while this weekend was all about the troops on Troy's campus, the football team took to the field for a battle of their own. Danielle Percival shows us the excitement of the game.
Let's go! Saturday, the Trojan football team rallied the troops and sank the midshipmen 41-31 to complete a memorable weekend in Troy athletics.
It's a game I thought we could win. I wasn't sure, though. The offense that they use, as you saw, is pretty prolific, and they always have big play capabilities off the option.
Facing a unit of the nation's defense, the Trojan defense was able to withstand Navy's triple option attack thanks to a successful week of preparation.
I think mainly that's attributed to how well the scout team played all week. They were really out there getting it on us and really giving us all they had, really.
Our scout team guys did an excellent job this week. They gave us a great look. We had a long physical week, and I think it got us ready to play this game.
Wide receiver Katie Edenfield was responsible for the scout team offense this week and presented Navy's triple option effectively.
KD didn't practice at all on offense last week. And, of course, KD ran this offense last year for us when we were getting ready to play Navy, but he was not as involved offensively. But very unselfish thing I thought for him to do was to come out there and work all week as a wishbone quarterback.
I just know from just watching games, and one of my good friends plays at Georgia Tech. They run that similar kind of offense, so I kind of know a little bit how it works. So I was just trying to do my best to help the defense get prepared.
Danielle Percival, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
The Trojans have 2 more opportunities to become bowl eligible, and the first chance is this Saturday against Arkansas State for homecoming. That game is set to begin at 2:30. And the excitement continued this weekend away from campus as well, as the volleyball team was able to clinch the number 2 seed in the conference tournament after they defeated the Owls of Florida Atlantic. This also marked the first time in 10 years the Trojans had a 20-win season, and the first time in school history they made back-to-back conference tournaments. Brianna Cullity led the Trojans with 12 kills, while Alexandra Alexander posted her 20th double-double of the season with 32 assists and 10 digs. And head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick was excited to celebrate in the success the weekend brought.
You can't be more proud to be a Trojan from this past weekend, with men's basketball winning, with football winning, and then there's a women's team that finished second in the conference. So we couldn't be happier of where we are. Hopefully we're going to represent ourselves and our university well this weekend up at Western Kentucky and try to hold our seed and make it to a championship game if possible.
The Trojans will get their chance to avenge a regular season loss against Louisiana Lafayette, as the Trojans will face the Raging Cajuns in the first round of the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. That match will begin Thursday at noon. So, Judson, Rachel, it was a great weekend for Trojan Athletics. The football team and basketball teams get some big key wins. The volleyball team was able to lock up that number 2 seed. And even though the women's basketball team didn't win, they can get that first win on the win column this Wednesday against Mercer at home.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling to win, and it looks like we won all across the board. Hopefully the women's basketball team can get with it and pick up some wins too.
I sure hope so.
All right, thanks a lot, Justin.
Thanks. Coming up on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, we'll hear from the editor of Troy University's yearbook, The Palladium.
But first, after a rainy day yesterday, the temps fell down back to a fall feel. What's our homecoming week going to look like, Bree?
Well, as we continue further into our homecoming week, it looks like these fall temperatures are going to be sticking around. I'll have more coming up in weather.
For me, professionally, I wanted a degree that actually means something. And Troy had a great reputation academically. There's a number of folks in Congress that have degrees from Troy. So I think that tells you an awful lot.
On campus or online, Troy offers you an extraordinary education that's respected around the world. Troy University. It's all you need to know.
I'm Rich Nugent, and I'm a United States Representative up in Washington, D.C., and I'm a Troy Trojan.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Bree Sanders joins us for a look at weather.
So, Bree, it rained yesterday. Are we going to experience any rain this week with it being homecoming week?
Well, sadly, we will be experiencing a little bit of rain tomorrow. We have about a 30% chance of rain of afternoon showers tomorrow, but I'll get more into that in just a moment. As we take a look at our current conditions right now, the sun is already set perfectly over Bibb Graves. So if you're headed to class or you're headed out on your way home, you can definitely enjoy the view. It's beautiful outside. As we move into our current conditions in our area, we have overcast skies, temperatures at 59 degrees, dew points at 27 degrees, humidity is at 29%, barometers at 30.24 inches and steady. Winds are coming in from the northwest at about 12 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 59, a low of 35. There was no rain today. The sun rises at 6:03 a.m. and it's set at 4:45 p.m. Temperatures around the state. Overall, our state is experiencing some mid to lower 50-degree temperatures right now. Mobile coming in with a high at 61. Huntsville at 52, Birmingham at 55, Montgomery at 60, Troy at 59, Phoenix City at 63, and Dothan at 65. Temperatures in our area, on average in our state, we're experiencing about mid 50-degree temperatures right here in Birmingham, and moving throughout the rest of the southeast, those temperatures decrease significantly into about the mid to upper 40s right there in North Carolina. Temperatures across the United States, however, as we take a look at the West Coast, they're experiencing some upper 30, lower 40-degree temperatures right now, very steady in their area. Departure from normal, they're about 11 degrees cooler in certain states, 17 degrees cooler there in Colorado. Taking a closer look at our state, however, we're on average about the same of what we've been experiencing lately, so maybe these fall temperatures are finally going to be here to stick around. Current surface map, we have a few high pressure systems here coming in through the Midwest. Closer to our state, we have this cold front that pushed through about 24 hours ago, bringing in that rain to our area, possibly bringing some more rain on tomorrow. Precipitation forecast over the next 2 days. We will be experiencing a little bit of rain here in the southernmost part of our state, which may be touching us in the Troy area, about a 30% chance of rain or so, maybe half an inch. So keep that rain gear on hand with you. Moving into tomorrow, like I said, that rain will be touching the southeasternmost part of our state, but it should be pushing out as we head into Thursday, further into the southeast. On Friday, it clears out of our area, and as we start our weekend on Saturday, still a picture-perfect weekend ahead of us. Tonight's forecast, we have mostly cloudy skies in our area, light winds coming in from the south-southeast at about 7 miles per hour with a low of 40 degrees. Moving into tomorrow's forecast, we have a few afternoon showers tomorrow, about a 30% chance of rain, light winds coming in from the northeast at about 6 miles per hour with a high of 60 degrees. So if you're out and about tomorrow, if you have class, you have to go to work, make sure you keep that umbrella and maybe a light jacket on hand just in case those showers come your way. Moving into our 4-day forecast, like I said earlier, we have that 50% chance of afternoon showers tomorrow. That high gets to about 60 degrees, low of 43. Thursday, that high gets to 62, low of 43. Friday, that high continues to increase to 65. That low gets down to 42. And on Saturday, that high remains constant right there at 65 degrees. So, Rachel, we did experience some rain yesterday, and it looks like we will be experiencing a little bit more rain tomorrow. But after that, we should have a picture-perfect homecoming week ahead of us, as well as the homecoming weekend.
So, with the exception of tomorrow, this whole week should be perfect, and just get out and celebrate homecoming.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Bree.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bree.